Hello, I'm Nano Nomaru. I'm 35 years old and I work at a marriage counseling agency. I have seen marriage of numerous couples, but there were a few problematic people. Today, I would like to talk to you about a lady I remember strongly among those people. Her name is Yuki. She was 45 years old and she had been to many marriage counseling agencies for 10 years. Apparently, her agency was the 10th company she visited. She had a slender figure, and at first sight, I thought that she was caring a lot about her appearance. I wondered why she wasn't married already, but I found out the reason on our first meeting. Please let us know if there are any requirements you are looking for in a partner.
I don't have any requirements. A normal man is fine with me.
What do you mean by normal? I immediately had a bad omen. In my experience, I had never had an experience in which a type of woman like Miss Yuki said normal was normal. Like I thought, Miss Yuki began explaining her requirements as she had said it multiple times.
Well, he definitely should be a creature of a 4-year university. A high school graduate is not even an option. Next is income. Well, a man should be making more than 8 million yen a year. Oh, but I don't want him to be running his own company since that's unstable. I want him to be working at a big and famous company. Or he could be a doctor or a lawyer or someone that has some kind of special license. Then he should be more than 175 centimeters tall. Well, my ideal type is someone over 180 centimeters, but it's okay as long as I don't surpass his height when I wear heels. Also, he should be in his 30s, who is calm and diligent and of course doesn't cheat. Well, but he will be boring if he's just diligent. I want some kind of humor from him. A man that's not funny is not attractive. Also, I want him to take me out on a date at least once a week. It will be perfect if he reserves a restaurant where we can see the night view. It's good if he remembers his anniversaries. And of course, he should not be married before.
What part of that is normal? Stay calm, Nano. The requirement is already difficult for women in their 20s who are the most popular. But I don't want to hurt her for saying it directly. I should say it in a nice way. I understand your requirements, but the amount of men that I can introduce will be limited with this requirements. Could you loosen your requirements for a little bit?
Really? I just loosened my requirements already. Looks like there's not enough good men in your company either.
I bet it's the same no matter what company you go. I checked Miss Yuki's profile once again. She's 45 years old, a temporary staff, and makes 2.5 million yen a year. She lives with her parents and hopes to live with her parents after marriage. She's so difficult. To be honest, there's a gap between the supply and demand of women and men in the marriage market. Women can marry men who are quite older than them, but men tend to like women that are younger than them. Even if they are over 40 years old, there's quite a lot who still hope to marry women who are in their 20s. But the reality is that it tends to work out better if men and women are about the same age. In Miss Yuki's situation, she would have to lower her standards even to match a man. This is just for example, but how about including men who had been married before?
Ew, I don't want to marry someone who got divorced. It means that they messed up once.
They might have messed up, but there's many incidents where their ex-wife was the reason for their divorce. Besides, they tend to treat you more important because they don't want to get divorced next time.
But they could have children, right? I don't want to take care of other people's children.
In most cases, the child lives with the ex-wife, and depending on the age, the child may even be grown up.
I don't want to marry such an old person. It'll be so embarrassing. The father was already like a grandfather when our child became adults.
I couldn't believe what I heard. I'm sorry, do you plan to have a child?
Of course! It's our duty to have children after we get married. That's why I want a young person, so he can make enough money while I can't work.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe her. This is when I thought that I was in trouble. I understand her feelings that she wants to get married and have a child, but in reality, it's hard for women in their 40s to get pregnant compared to women in their 20s or 30s. And I knew a couple who paid a lot of money for their infertility treatment, only to find out that it was unsuccessful. I was worried about her beliefs about pregnancy because it was clear that they would have a problem even after she got married. Also, men who is willing to marry a woman at her age have hopes of living as just as a couple, so it's obvious that it'll be harder for Miss Yuki if she wants to have a baby. Miss Yuki continued on with her impossible requirements while ignoring our advice and said,
"Okay, do something on your side and find a perfect match for me,"
and left. I thought that it was impossible, but I work at a marriage counseling company. I want to become more people to become happy. I searched for a match with all my energy, but
50 years old? I told you I don't want an old man. What were you listening? 5 million yen a year? And even works at a little company I've never even heard about. He's clearly not an option. I don't like his face. Come back after you lose some weight. His hobby is manga and anime? Disgusting.
She didn't like anyone. I didn't tell Miss Yuki, but when I tried to introduce her to men that meet all her requirements, they all rejected after seeing her face and her profile. Miss Yuki couldn't wait no longer after she wasn't able to meet anyone for half a year. Then she started nagging me to find a good person. That was when an unexpected person appeared suddenly. He was 40 years old and was regretting that he only focused on his work, so he started thinking about having a wife. He works at a famous company and makes 10 million yen a year. He is tall and graduated from a famous university. He even wants a child in the future. But he still should get a chance to choose, so I reluctantly showed Miss Yuki's picture to him.
She's a beautiful person. I want to meet her.
Yay! He got many requests from other women, but Miss Yuki got a chance to meet the man. Even Miss Yuki praised me and said,
I told you can do it.
She couldn't hide her happiness. It was decided by the two that they are going to meet at a nearby cafe. I hoped it would go well. After 30 minutes.
Excuse me.
Is there anything wrong?
She left already.
Is that true? It has only been 30 minutes! The man seemed like he didn't want to talk about it anymore, so I hung up the phone and called Miss Yuki.
Yes?
Hello? Is this Miss Yuki? I heard that you poured coffee on that man and left the cafe. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
Why did you do that?
It's because he was the eldest son.
What?
Didn't I tell you? I said that I want to marry someone who will live with me and my parents. Why would you reduce the eldest son to me?
I told him about that. He agreed that he will live with you and your parents if that's what you want.
There's no way an eldest son who is only a younger sister would come to my house.
You don't have to make such a quick decision.
That's why I poured coffee on him. I don't want to be looked down like that.
Even if you thought so, you shouldn't pour coffee on a person you met the first time.
I don't care about someone who's not my match. I will be so mad if you introduce me to a man like that again.
Miss Yuki hung up the phone on me, and I sent an apology message to the man once again. I told him that this would never happen again. Well, I thought that a good man like him would find a good partner soon. Then continued introducing to Miss Yuki, but avoided positive guidance. Well, I couldn't find a man who would match all her requirements. After a month, I got a call from her.
I will attend the party that will be held at your company.
My company occasionally held parties for members who were looking for their partners, and Miss Yuki said she wanted to attend too. I have no problem with that, but the participants for this party are fairly young. Is that okay with you?
So there's going to be young men? That'll be awesome! Are there any doctors?
That's not what I mean. As I expected, Miss Yuki didn't figure out my true intention and decided to attend the party. However, an unexpected thing happened and she had to face the reality of her situation. In the party, there are mostly women in their 20s and 30s, and men in their 30s and 40s. Everyone was searching seriously for their partners, and since they had to pay money to attend the party, they were being extremely strict about looking for their future partner. Miss Yuki, however, stood out in the crowd, and she was like a lion in the savannah. She was of course strict about the requirements of the men, but she even judged the women for wearing too much makeup or being too active. She even demanded to kick those women out of the party. Also, she requested to isolate the woman who had strong perfume. Miss Yuki were making complaints about the women who could be her potential rivals. That was when a lady came up to her and started speaking.
Nice to meet you. Are you about the same age?
The only woman in her 50s at the party spoke to Miss Yuki. Miss Yuki seemed cautious towards the women at first, and she was wearing a beautiful kimono and had an elegant aura, but as soon as she found out that the woman was older than her, she suddenly became arrogant. She started talking to her badly, but the madam listened to Miss Yuki's bragging with a smile on her face and thought, oh, this is how to age beautifully.
By the way, were there any good men? I couldn't find any. Me too. Also, there are young women everywhere, so I'm a little reluctant to talk to them. There's no men that match our standards, right? No, not at all. I meant that they were so young that an old lady like me shouldn't be here. What do you mean? Women are always valued, no matter what age. You're right. I think there's certain value to me too. But at my age, I don't expect to have any children, and I'm just hoping that I find someone that can be my life partner. How old are you? I'm turning 50 this year.
Miss Yuki was startled after she heard the madam that was only 5 years older than her.
Then you should have gone to a party where elders attend. I thought so, but my daughter begged me to attend this party, so I decided to join the membership. Daughter? Yes, that's her.
The madam pointed to a beautiful woman surrounded by several men. Ironically, the woman who was with Miss Yuki claimed to kick out of the party.
I told her that since she's still 25, she doesn't have to be so eager, but she told me that she wanted to get married soon and reassured me.
That was when Miss Yuki finally understood her value at the marriage market, and that she had to win over women that were much younger than her.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Could we have a chat?
A man in his late 30s talked to her. Miss Yuki replied as if to show that there's still value in her.
Sure, I could have a chat with you.
But the man said,
Sorry, I meant to talk with this woman.
Oh, me?
What the heck?
I found your aura very elegant and beautiful. It would be great if we could talk privately.
Oh no, I'm almost 50. My husband passed away, so there should be no problem. But is it okay if I have a history of marriage?
Actually, I got divorced once, so I don't care about your marriage history.
If you say so, let's have a chat. Sorry, Miss Yuki, I will be back soon.
The two went to a different table. Miss Yuki, who was left alone, was shaking with anger. But she didn't give up and was still searching for her ideal man. Then she found a man that she recognized.
Hey, you! I can't believe you're attending this party too!
She walked arrogantly to the only man she was able to meet. He seemed to notice that Miss Yuki was attending the party from the beginning, so he was trying to hide from her. Miss Yuki approached him when he was speaking to other women. He made a disgusting and terrified look when Miss Yuki started speaking to him.
You like me, right? I will date you. Let's get out of this place now.
How long would it take her to realize the reality? Me and the other staff couldn't bear it any longer and tried to stop her. But before we could do that, the man replied,
I'm sorry, I will not date you.
And rejected her.
Why? We went on a date once!
Who would date a woman who poured coffee on me as soon as she found out that I was the oldest son of our first date?
That's because you didn't meet my requirements. I'm telling you that I'm lowering my standards for you.
Do you know what lowering your standards meant? I think you have the least dignity among all the women at this party.
Are you saying that I'm losing again these young and inexperienced women?
Seems like you have aged without looking at the reality.
I don't know if she was embarrassed or if he hurt her pride, but she picked up her bag and tried to leave the party. Her parting line was, Text me if there's other good men. Don't bother me about anything else. These men at this party were not for me. Like we said, we never contacted her ever again. A few months has passed, and Miss Yuki silently withdrew from her membership. Rumor says that she joined another marriage firm and is still searching for her partner. By the way, the man found a beautiful lady about his age, and the madam is building a good relationship with the men who talk to her. Wanting to get married is not a bad thought at all. However, as long as there's rivals and other people involved, it is important to objectively see ourselves, be humble, and show great respect towards people. I hope Miss Yuki will learn her lesson soon and have a happy life.